Behold the latest military news update. This is AFP Community News, hosted by Rob Suzon every 12 noon, Mondays to Fridays. Only here on DWDD Armed Forces Radio. One AFP for a stronger Philippines.
Philippine Army places disaster response units on alert for Typhoon Tino. Notorious bomb maker surrenders to 32nd IB in Basilan. DSWD gears up for Tino, 184 million pesos in aid ready. NCRPO to deploy 15,000 cops to Trillion Plaza March on November 30.
Hello to everyone, especially to our troops at Camp Emilio Ginaldo in Quezon City. Today is Tuesday, November 4, and this is AFP Committee News, your source for the updates on the armed forces and other developments across the country. I am Prof. Sudan Abay here to bring you today's story.
DWDD Armed Forces News.
For the brief overview of our news, the Philippine Army has placed its disaster response units on full alert due to Typhoon Tino. A total of 470 humanitarian assistance and disaster response teams composed of 4,376 officers and listed personnel, CAFGO members and reservists were mobilized for possible deployment to affected areas. Philippine Army spokesperson Colonel Louis de Maala said the Army units across Visayas, Southern Luzon, Bicol and Metro Manila are coordinating with disaster agencies to ensure swift rescue and relief operations. He urged the residents in high-risk areas to remain vigilant and heed evacuation advisories for their safety.
DWDD Armed Forces News.
A notorious bomb maker operating in submissive Basilan voluntarily surrendered to the 32nd Infantry Battalion. The suspect's surrender followed a fatal explosion in Barangay Mangal that claimed the life of a rubber plantation worker and the arrest of two of his accomplices. According to 32nd IB Commander Lieutenant Colonel Gerwin Maghuyop, the suspect turned himself in after intensified joint military and police operations in the area. Authorities commended the surrender as a major step toward dismantling local terror networks and sustaining peace and security efforts in Basilan.
Armed Forces Radio.
From PAFC, let us hear from Apple about Philippine Air Force participates in 12 MMCA in the West Philippine Sea.
The Philippine Air Force, through the 15th Strike Wing, participated in a 12th Multilateral Maritime Cooperative Activity, or MMCA, held in the West Philippine Sea. The activity was conducted jointly by the Armed Forces of the Philippines, Australian Defence Force, New Zealand Defence Force, and the U.S. Navy to strengthen interoperability and enhance maritime security cooperation. The 15th Strike Wing deployed 3 A-29B Super Tucano light attack aircraft, which performed flyby and low-pass maneuvers during the series of coordinated maritime and aerial operations. The PAF's participation in this MMCA highlighted its capability in close air support and maritime surveillance, demonstrating its readiness to support joint maritime defense operations aimed at promoting peace and stability in the Indo-Pacific region. This is Apple Burabo reporting for AFP Community News. One AFP for a stronger Philippines.
Thank you, Apple from PAFC.
DWDD Armed Forces News.
Soldiers for the 95th Infantry Battalion recovered a grand rifle and a grenade in Barangay Canada, Maconacon, Isabela. The items were found in a former encampment of the dismantled Comiteng Rehiyong Cagayan Valley following information provided by local residents. Authorities safely secured the recovered weapons and explosives to prevent any danger to civilians. The 95 IB reaffirmed its commitment in promoting peace, unity, and cooperation to maintain security and stability in the province.
DWDD Armed Forces News.
8 high-powered firearms were voluntarily surrendered by residents of Gidulungan, Maguindanao del Sur to the military under the Small Arms and Light Weapons Program. The turnover, led by 601st Infantry Brigade Commander Brigadier General Edgar Catu and Mayor Guadzali Midtimbang, involved weapons from 11 barangays, including a mortar, grenade launchers, rifles, and submachine guns. Mayor Midtimbang said the move reflects the committee's commitment to peace and order, while Brigadier General Catu commended local cooperation and encouraged others to surrender loose firearms. All surrendered weapons will be demilitarized as part of the government's ongoing peace and security efforts in Mindanao.
Armed Forces Radio.
From NOLCOM, let's hear some information from Joanne about the Army and partners present livelihood integration programs to former rebels in Abra.
More than 100 former rebels across Abra participated in the Former Rebels Summit Balik Loob Livelihood and Integration Fair as part of continuing efforts to sustain peace through community-based initiatives. During the summit, agencies including the Office of Presidential Advisor for Peace, Reconciliation and Unity, Department of Interior and Local Government, Department of Agriculture, Department of Trade and Industry, National Intelligence Coordinating Agency, the Provincial Government of Abra, and the National Amnesty Commission with concerned citizens of Abra for good governance presented the livelihood and reintegration programs of the government. The said summit, led by the 501st Brigade of the Philippine Army at the Abra Provincial Capital on October 28, also facilitated a dialogue where a total of 114 former rebels in attendance voiced out their concerns. Through convergence, government offices can address said issues using reintegration strategies under the government's transformation program towards sustainable peace and development. The Former Rebel Summit was conducted as part of the Enhanced Comprehensive Local Integration Program of the National Task Force to End Local Communist Armed Conflict. This is John Sagalk reporting for AFP Community News 1, AFP for Stronger Philippines.
Thank you, Joanne from NOLCOM.
DWDD Armed Forces News.
Army officials, including Colonel Francis Carandang, the Deputy Brigade Commander of the 201st Infantry Brigade, and Lieutenant Colonel Giomar Pipit, the commanding officer of the 85th Infantry Battalion, joined the groundbreaking of the 70 million peso Pamana Farm to Market Road project in Barangay Pagsangahan, San Francisco, Quezon. Both officers reaffirmed the Philippine Army's commitment in sustaining peace and supporting community development in formerly insurgency-affected areas. They emphasized the infrastructure projects like this road symbolize the tangible dividends of peace and partnership between the military, government, and local stakeholders. The project, implemented under the Pamana program, aims to boost local livelihood by connecting farmers to water market opportunities while strengthening stability in southern Quezon.
DWDD National News.
And now for our national news, the Department of Social Welfare and Development in Bicol is ready for the onslaught of severe tropical storm Tino in the region. They are preparing over 212,000 family food packs and more than 20 non-food items worth 184.09 million pesos. It has set aside 3 million pesos in standby funds to address immediate emergency needs. DSWD Regional Director Norman Laurio said the resources are strategically positioned to support local government units in the event of evacuations, displacements, or other emergency caused by Tino.
Armed Forces Radio.
And more updates from Shaira about Philippine Navy and Royal Australian Navy strengthen maritime partnership.
Yes, good afternoon, Rolf. The Philippine Navy and Royal Australian Navy reinforced their strong maritime partnership during the goodwill visit of Himas Ballarat FFH 155 to Subic, Zambales. The visit featured courtesy calls, a reception dinner, subject matter expert exchange workshops in damage control and anti-submarine warfare, and goodwill games to promote camaraderie and mutual learning. Both navies shared operational insights and best practices aimed at enhancing interoperability and cooperation in regional maritime maritime security. The engagement highlighted the enduring friendship and shared commitment of the Philippines and Australia in maintaining peace and stability in the Indo-Pacific region. This is Shai Rivera reporting for AFP Community News, One AFP for a Stronger Philippines.
Thank you so much, Shaira.
DWDD National News.
Some 7,000 residents in coastal areas of the Nagat Islands were preemptively evacuated as part of the province's preparations for Typhoon Tino. The Nagat Islands Governor Nilo de Maray Jr. said the 87 out of the 100 barangays in the province are in coastal areas. Pag-asa raised signal number 4 for the province of the Nagat Islands. Also included in the signal number 4 are islands of Siargao and Bucas Grande in Surigao del Norte province.
DWDD National News.
The National Capital Region Police Office said it will deploy 15,000 cops during the second trillion peso march on November 30. NCRPO Public Information Office Chief Police Major Hazel Asilio said the 15,000 personnel does not include reinforcements that will come from different regions such as Region 3, Region 4A, and other nearby regions that will give additional force if help is needed. The massive protest on November 30 followed the first trillion peso march last September 21. The protesters are demanding accountability, the return of stolen public funds, and full transparency.
Armed Forces Radio.
And therefore of our report on the ground, let's hear the report of Jait about Philippine fleet and U.S. defense officials strengthen maritime cooperation.
Philippine Fleet Commander Rear Admiral Joe Anthony Orbe met with United States Senior Defense Official and JUSMAG Philippine Chief Colonel Daniel O at Marine Barracks Eduardo Brown, Taguig City. Both sides discussed operational coordinations, capability development, and future joint training activities aimed at strengthening bilateral maritime cooperation. The meeting reaffirmed the enduring U.S.-Philippine defense partnership and their shared commitment to regional peace and stability. The engagement highlighted both nations' dedication in enhancing interoperability and advancing mutual defense objectives in the Indo-Pacific region. This is Jay reporting for AFP Community News, One AFP for Stronger Philippines.
Thank you, Jai.
DWDD National News.
For other national news, the Department of Public Works and Highways is poised to generate at least 60 billion pesos in savings in 2026. This follows its move to reduce prices of some construction materials. Public Works Secretary Vince Dizon made the remarks as he announced that the DPWH will be cutting the cost for several building materials after the agency found out that prices have been bloated to up to 74% in some regions. Dizon added that overpricing has been a practice for decades, but they will stop it now. Once the agency stops this, there will be minimized opportunities for corruption.
DWDD National News.
Former Ako Bicol Party List Representative Zaldico is yet to answer allegations on his alleged involvement in the anomalous 289.5 peso million flood control project in Oriental Mindoro. Assistant Ombudsman Miko Clavano said was referring to the Independent Commission for Infrastructure's recommendation to the Ombudsman seeking graft, malversation, and falsification charges against CO and other Department of Public Works and Highways officials. Clavano explained the order to file a counter affidavit was given to Elizalde Zaldico, but the recipient refused to accept. He added that while CO is overseas, he can still file his sworn counter affidavit before any Philippine embassy, and the Ombudsman won't wait for CO's reply longer than it should.
Armed Forces Radio.
And more updates from Jim Boy. 14th IB prepares for Typhoon Tino in Eastern Visayas.
The 14th Infantry Battalion activated its disaster preparedness plan and deployed troops across Leyte and southern Leyte ahead of Typhoon Tino. In coordination with local government and disaster office, troops have been repositioned in flood and landslide front area for possible evacuation, rescue, and relief operation. Acting Commanding Officer Lieutenant Colonel Esperaldo Sumalinog assured that the unit remained ready to protect life and properties. The battalion also urged communities in vulnerable areas to stay alert and follow advisory from authorities as part of its ongoing humanitarian assistance and disaster response effort. This is Jimboy reporting for AFP Community News, 1 AFP for the stronger Philippines.
Thank you, Jimboy.
DWDD National News.
On the other hand, the Department of Justice has issued subpoenas against the respondents in the complaints involving 5 ghost flood control projects in Bulacan for the conduct of their preliminary investigation. Prosecutor General Richard Fadolion said the subpoenas were issued last week. Meanwhile, he said the first hearing will be held on November 10. The DOJ initially referred its recommendation to file graft, malversation, perjury, and falsification of public documents charges against officials of the Department of Public Works and Highways Bulacan 1st District Engineering Office and several contractors to the Office on the Ombudsman.
DWDD National News.
Almost all of the last-minute hires and promoted officials during the last 3 months of the term of former Ombudsman Samuel Martirez have tendered their courtesy resignations. Assistant Ombudsman Miko Clavano was referring to Ombudsman Jesus Crispin Remulla's order for 204 individuals. Clavano said this is a show of good faith from everybody and a sign of trust in the new Ombudsman and his administration. Clavano then said that the Ombudsman's office will evaluate these hirings and also the promotions and come up with a decision as soon as possible to ensure that the office has enough manpower to carry out its mandate to prosecute corrupt public officials and their cohorts.
Armed Forces Radio.
And some information from Ken about AFP honors outstanding units and offices for exemplary performance and service.
The Armed Forces of the Philippines honored outstanding units and officers for their exemplary achievements during a recognition ceremony led by AFP Chief of Staff General Romeo Browner Jr. after the flag raising event in Camp Aguinaldo, Quezon City yesterday. Awardees under the AFP Transformation Roadmap Institutionalization Pathway included the JH Group Provident Fund Office, the AFP Peace and Development Office, and the Office of the Dean Corps of Professors. The ceremony also celebrated the AFP Cavaliers basketball team's championship win in UNTB Cup Executive Face-Off 2025, where they donated 2 million pesos to AFP Educational Benefit System Office for Scholars and Dependents. General Bronner lauded the awardees for embodying honor, service, and patriotism. This is Ken reporting for AFP Community News, 1 AFP for Stronger Philippines.
Thank you, Ken.
DWDD National News.
The Department of Foreign Affairs, through the Philippine Embassy in Beijing, resumed its e-visa operations in China. Under the e-visa system, Chinese nationals residing in mainland China, Hong Kong, and Macau would be eligible to apply for Philippine e-visas for tourism and business purposes. The e-visa would allow a single, non-extendable, and non-convertible 14-day entry, the department said in a statement. It would be valid for entry only through the Ninoy Aquino International Airport in Metro Manila and the Mactan Cebu International Airport in Cebu. The DFA said that development of the e-visa aims to streamline government processes, promote tourism, advance digitalization, and boost tourist arrivals in the Philippines.
DWDD National News.
The National Police Commission accepted the apology issued by the man who went viral online for wearing a real police uniform during a Halloween party. Daryl Isidro cut the sleeves of the uniform he wore in a party, which drew flack from the police force. Isidro said it was not his intention to disrespect the uniform of the police and that he has the utmost respect for the PNP and the members of the police. Following his apology, the NAPOLCOM decided not to issue a show cause order against Isidro as NAPOLCOM Vice Chairperson and Executive Officer Rafael Calinisan tore the order during the presser. On the other line, let's hear more from Ferdy about Philippine Army installs new commander of its Reserve Command.
Good day everyone, Major General Ronald J. Salcudia officially assumed command of the Reserve Command Philippine Army, succeeding Major General Ramon Zagala in a change of command ceremony at Camp Regio de Dios, Tanza, Cavite yesterday. The ceremony was presided over by the Philippine Army Commanding General, Lieutenant General Antonio Navarrete. In his valedictory remarks, Major General Zagala thanked the RESCOM personnel for their steadfast commitment and support during his leadership. Major General Alcudia, a member of PMA Maalab class of 1993, previously served as the Army Chief of Staff and Commander of the 202nd Infantry Brigade. This is Ferdly Bruce reporting for AFP Community News, one AFP for a stronger Philippines.
Thank you, Ferdy.
DWDD National News.
Normalcy has returned to the municipality of Tipo-Tipo in Basilan following a Rido-related or clan conflict that erupted last week. The Philippine National Police said the situation in Tipo-Tipo town has already stabilized after a series of security and peace interventions. Police Regional Office Bangsamoro Autonomous Region Regional Director Police Brigadier General Jason de Guzman clarified that the incident was not a siege but rather a clan feud. The police said they have already filed murder charges against 6 suspects in connection with the incident, 2 of whom have been arrested.
DWDD Armed Forces News.
That concludes today's broadcast, and thank you for tuning in, especially to our audience on AFP Radio, the DWDD's Facebook page. Be sure to join and catch us again tomorrow for more stories and updates, same time and same station. Once again, this is Rob Susan Abay for AFP Community News, one AFP for stronger Philippines.
Behold the latest military news update. This is AFP Community News, hosted by Rob Susan every 12 noon, Mondays to Fridays. Only here on DWDD Armed Forces Radio. One AFP for a stronger Philippines.
Kayo ay nakatutok sa DWDD AFP Radio. Kami po ay kasapi ng KBP, kapisanan ng mga broadcaster ng